Greetings, everyone. I'm some jerk on the internet, and it's time for another whack-a-Hovind. Um, had an odd work day today, first day back since the little snowstorm hit. So that's a little bit crazy of a day. That's all I can say. And I had a sinus headache most of it. Yeah, so go figure. Of course, first day back for work, and you feel like crud. But we're here. Literally had just got home, got everything prepped. I'm still in my work clothes. So yeah, I'm hitting this as soon as I can. Not for any other reason than I was like, it's Tuesday. I got to do this. Um, it's January 27th. For those of you who may care, may be interested, it's the 59th anniversary, actually coming up in this next hour, of the Apollo 1 fire. Tragic event in space history. Look that up if you don't know about it. Gus Grissom, Ed White, Roger Chaffee, freaking heroes, man. Tomorrow will be the 40th anniversary of the Challenger disaster. I've got a stream planned on that. Um, Mainly focusing on the disaster itself, what actually had happened, and stressing, and this is always some point of contention, but it's funny, no one's responses ever consist of having actually looked into it, that it was not an explosion. It was a disintegration of the vehicle stack, and there is a massive difference between the two phenomena. But that's a discussion for another time. Don't argue with me about it. Argue with the official NASA commission report on the incident and the official, statements on the conclusion of the research into it. That's enough, though, about future plans and spacey stuff, although I could talk about that all day. Time for Hovind. Now, I'd really rather just talk about Apollo and Space Shuttle, but nope, we got Hovind to watch. So let's just do it. This is my suffering for the world's sake. Oh, re-upload on Ahab? Why'd you have to re-upload it? What the hell, Kent? What's with this re-upload shit? Oh, you know what? Because it glitched out for the most part, so they probably cut it down from the original. Whatever. In any case.
Dinosaur Adventureland in Genesis Baptist Church in Lenox, Alabama. It is January 26, 2026, and it's chilly, 30 degrees outside. And go.
Wow, Kent, nobody cares. When I went to work, it was like 12 outside. It was actually surprisingly comfortable.
Going down to, what do you say, 20? Yeah, you Northerners are thinking, that's not cold. I understand. Okay. It's cold to us, okay? So I got the thermal underwear on. Not even going to try to hide the sleeves tonight. Okay, let's see. We are on, Facebook. A bunch of people watch there. Rumble, X. I got to take the Twitter out of there. Instagram, TikTok.
I'll give you that, Kent. I will give you that a lot, that you're like, I got to take the Twitter out of there, that you're keeping enough awareness to be like, it's not Twitter anymore. Because it's not. Stop calling it Twitter. It's not Twitter. Twitter died when Musk took over and turned it into Nazi haven. It may be the same infrastructure. It may be the same account you had since like 2010, like I did, until I deleted my old one. It's not Twitter anymore. It will never be Twitter again. Go to Blue Sky if you want that. Pick a Mastodon instance. I don't know, do something. Or just join a BBS and, do like I do. Actually, there's, depending on the networked sections of BBSs, you get a lot of right-wing fuckwits as well, so maybe not. That's another story for another time. Really need to do a video on my BBS and be like, here's how to actually use this thing. Here's how to make it worth your while. But anyway, yeah, good on you, Kent, to clean that up. That kind of accuracy is a detail that I really, really like and would expect from someone who's supposed to have your credentials, your pedigree on this stuff, and not the rabid insanity that this screen always is.
Just sign up for all of them. They're all free. Get our own app, KentHovind.tv, and just tell your friends about our ministry. We want to help strengthen your faith in the Word of God. It's that simple.
Just a note, if anyone happens to be in Discord and sees Zumi post her D&D streams, they are fun to have on in the background if you are casually aware of D&D, and just listen to what happens and listen to the little banter and sort of enjoy, because I've never really been around like an actual D&D session. I was doing that last night while hitting up some Guild Wars, and it was really, really fun. So yeah, if you're in the Discord and you see her post that, you got some time, put it on and enjoy.
Bible's true. Evolution is stupid. It's real simple. Not complicated at all. Okay, here we are, the 26th. Ahab, part 2.
Yes, Kent. Stay down in the South. I act as a barrier between the North and your bullshit. It has to pass through Memphis, so it has to pass through me. 35 degrees north latitude. I claim that shit, motherfucker.
Let's see. 10-year anniversary coming up in April. I'd like to get the ark finished. You can see that. Joseph, I got that picture in there. Look at that.
Got that picture in there. Look at that. Well, it's Alabama. Alabama. It's totally Alabama. Except you got a bunch of Florida in there, too. You got to make sure Pensacola was in there, didn't you?
Is this a tourist guide for Alabama? Things to see in Alabama. Look down here. Dinosaur Adventureland. Oh.
Wow. You had something made with your shitty park on it. Whoopity-doo.
That's important to somebody somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, you see this one, Tyrannosaurus Rex? Come on now, RJ, that's funny.
Boomer alert.
Okay. We're an old-fashioned, independent, temperamental, fundamental, right-wing, radical, chicken-eating Baptist church. We believe the Bible is true. Evolution is stupid. God made everything in 6 days. The flood of Noah explains all the layers we see in the earth. There's no such thing as a geologic column. There's no such thing as a fossil record. There are lots of fossils. That's all from the...
Yeah, you're welcome, Zoomy. It was a really interesting experience and was just all around pleasant. It's like if you just want to kind of separate and geek out, but you don't want to be active in something you want to passively enjoy, that is like the perfect kind of vibe to roll with, at least for me. So I just, it's like instead of watching someone play a video game, you're watching a squad play a tabletop RPG, and there's so much humanity about it. You just love it.
Flood. None of them talk. None of them have a date on them. There is no record. It's just a bunch of fossils. You can interpret it several different ways, okay? Let's say we believe evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous cult in the world. So, no evidence for it. Prove me wrong. Call in, okay? Let's see. Come join us for meals here. We have 3,000 meals a month we feed. Help us finish the ark. We need
No, you don't.
plumbers, electricians, carpenters, painters.
You do need that, but you're not going to paint them. Going to pay them. You probably would paint them. Give me a carpenter. Paint it red. Set it on my desk.
Stuffed animals. We need lots of stuffed animals, pink one and a blue one, or put a ribbon on them like we did there. Okay. Got a blacktop. Still no price on that, brother. I got to call those guys back. They're saying it's too cold. I don't want to blacktop anything. Okay. It's going to be a bunch of money. If you want to.
Laura, I don't know why I keep on with my crappy vision at a glance getting your account name and Laura's mixed up because they're both really long ones, so my brain just puts it. No, Rochester, yeah, that would that might be a fun way to kind of just take a step back though. I don't know. Just thinking. And that dare, yeah. And there's a link Rooney to the Discord.
Help us blacktop around our Noah's Ark and get rid of some of the mud around here. Please do. Okay, you can help us to open for free. Join our 777 Club on drdino.com.
You can help me continue to make these videos if you're able to by giving a little donation on the coffee link down there. You can buy me some coffee, get a few bucks, goes in my PayPal, and allows me, honestly, to buy energy drinks at work. Yeah, they're fucking expensive, but whatever, they're right there. If I bought like a 20-pack of Monster, I'd drink that shit in like one day and be tripping balls by the end of that day too. But yeah, you got that. You got super chats. You got super thanks. You're watching this after the fact. Y'all know how YouTube works. Channel memberships, where I occasionally put out members only content. Either way, I appreciate the support a ton, and I'm very active with my community. Just ask my community members, who are totally free to hate me of their own volition. Several have before. Nah, just a couple. That's unrelated though. Nah, seriously though. We have a lot of fun around here. And I like to think I care about my audience, and we really just are a team effort on this stuff. So if you're able to help, that's cool. If not, you just being here is fucking awesome. Yeah. Join the Discord, and you can have even more fucking awesome all the time. It's insanity in the best way. Returning the echidna's gay, brother. Alex Jones Hogan, anybody? Shout out to my buddy Prince Watercress, the master echidna. Anyway, back to Hovind.
Almost 10 years coming up in a couple months. So let's see. Go to slide number 1134. We left off our study of Ahab yesterday with the prophet Elijah under a juniper tree running from Ahab's wicked wife, Queen Jezebel.
Hey, big.
So here we are. He himself
There's my mouse doing that thing again. And Zoomy, I tried the options, didn't fix the same problem. It is literally the hardware switch flip into a point where, unless I change the double click speed, it's not going to stop that weird effect. And I kind of double click fast, so I need it to stay fast. Yeah, Big One Mama, great. Hi, Chris. Great to see you. Hope you see you more on Hovind's open mic stream. I have to be in the right mood, but I would like to pop in. But after that last time, I'm just like, man, the one time I call in and you have tech difficulties, like, do I want to bother again? I could have done my own stream, but calling in, I should still do it anyway.
went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a juniper tree and requested for himself that he might die.
And yes, Joe, DAO's most stupid and dangerous cult in the world. Kent, your stupid ass. Hovind.
This is the man of God. Got discouraged because a wicked woman was after him.
Yeah, Kent, you realize the Norwegians have banned you from Norway. You know that, right? Like they disown you.
He said, "It's enough now, O Lord, take
And send them to Denmark.
away my life, for I'm not better than my fathers." And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, an angel touched him and said unto him, "Arise and eat."
Well, yeah.
Angel reaches down, touches him.
Wrong thing. Conecuh County did say basically piss off. They did deviate the main truck routes for the dust issue, but they weren't going to pave Pearl Lane. But when he's talking about Blacktop, he actually is talking about in his own property, which is a different story.
Have you ever run from God's will? Been out of God's will? Ever
No. Juniper tree? I don't think so.
ended up under a juniper tree? Ever been bone tired and wanted to quit? Yeah.
No, but I've been tired from boning. And then I kept on going. Ask my ex from 2010.
Ever needed a touch from God? So he looked, and behold,
No.
there was a cake baken on the coals, and a cruse of water at his head. And he did eat and drink and laid him down again. And the angel of the Lord came a second time and touched him, said, "Arise
Yeah,
and
Sweden doesn't want him either. America doesn't want him. Well, half of America. The other half probably sucks him.
eat, because the journey is too great for
Trump on one side, Kent on the other. Let's do this, Harvard.
thee." This is interesting. Remember the cake and the cruise? Maybe God's reminding him of that
No. No, I don't, Kent.
widow, that sustained him. The meal never failed in the barrel, and the cruse of water, the cruse of oil never could get dry. And he arose and did eat and drink and went in the strength of that meat 40 days and 40 nights.
I should, but the day of Hovind's birthday, I actually called and talked to Joseph for a few minutes and did compliment him on his tech job. Because for all the fuck ups they have, I'm going to be very serious for a moment. Breaking kayfabe here. Joseph makes mistakes. I make mistakes. Live streaming is a pain in the ass. And while their setup is he doesn't have to perform as well as manage the stream like I do, he is managing a bit more stuff on a whole and a more complicated setup. So I give him props for it working most of the time. And I'm being very serious here. I will talk shit, but I would expect him to give me crap over my streams as well in the same way. And yes, it's mean of me to do to a degree. But I don't dislike the guy, honestly. I really don't. Um, Sometimes in the moment, I'm like, F you, and it's a bit of a genuine, but it's like if I had to help him out with something and I was able to, I would. Kent, no. Not unless it was like very specific stuff and my empathy was like full on, like gotta help a human. But Joseph, yeah, if he needed something that I could provide, some kind of help, and I was willing, and able, yeah, totally. Um, so calling in and acting as tech support and tech help, that wouldn't be too bad because I have said before, I want to call and ask about the setup, but he isn't the most conversational person, which is surprising for me to say because I hate phone calls, even though I like phones. Make that make sense, right? Um, and I'm talking about liking phones as in the old rotary junts where all you can do is talk to somebody. That's it. Or if you're good at whistling, trip a call, cross country. That's another story. I'm not Joe Ingressia, who lived in Memphis for a time, by the way. Um, but anyway, point is, you know, he doesn't seem to really want or maybe necessarily have the time for a long conversation. And I think that's probably Hovind being a taskmaster to everybody. So even though you can get a hold of Bobby and you can get a hold of Joseph and the like, they may be pressed for time and may not be able to take time out of their day to actually connect to somebody to any degree. Like me and him actually working on making, figuring out the flaws or something, even for whatever value I'd have remotely. Would be fascinating because I wouldn't mind Kent streams being of better overall quality with less, stuff acting up. But how much is really their fault and how much is just the nature of the game with being in the middle of bumfuck nowhere? We joke about it, but seriously, the fact they managed to stream the way they are is kind of impressive and shows that the connectivity of rural America is pretty incredible at this stage.
Unto Horeb, the Mount of God. And he came thither unto
Hey, it was given to Kent. Someone bought the 140-acre lot. So, I'm not going to lie. I would take it too. It's like, hey, I got 140 acres you can have. Well, okay. My family just took everything from me because I pissed them off.
a cave and lodged there. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, and he said unto him, What doest thou here, Elijah?
Yeah, the Revival Nation guys are a bit more professional. They do suck at presenting stuff. At least Hovind's screenshots and stuff are generally legible. So I'll give Hovind props on that rather than just showing an unzoomed live desktop feed. Um, it's not saying too much. I'll take. There's some elements of Hovind I'll take over the dude bro podcaster nature of those guys, but we will be covering Revival Nation more, and everyone thanks Zumi for pointing them out.
What are you doing here? He's running from God, running from Queen Elizabeth, Queen Jezebel.
Running for Queen Elizabeth, she's gonna get you from beyond the grave. Queen Elizabeth, coming 2027 to Netflix.
Now, this is interesting. Where is Mount Horeb? The Bible maps often show Mount Horeb, Sinai, down here in the Sinai Peninsula. This is baloney. I'm sorry, it's not true.
So, Drusvilla, here is my assessment of Hovind's setup. Is that they have right now? I think this is just a single laptop setup of the one webcam and Hovind's feed. No, wait, no, because Hovind's video feed. See, that's the thing. They've got Hovind's video. I think here's what's happening. Okay, I had to run it again. I think there's a computer multiplexing Hovind's feed and so one computer handling what we see on Hovind's end that's multiplexing his video with his slideshow. And that's being fed into a stream for a feed for Restream, which is sending it out to the internet. So when people call in, that's why when they call in and it shrinks to like two people, you'll see Hovind's slides still there because it's all one element being multiplexed in. So you've got one system sending that feed to that synchronized with audio. I don't even know how they manage that. That's honestly impressive. Going into Restream. So you have the Restream system handling all that, and also the feed on Hovind's end, where if he wants to show his chart, Joseph would have to take away the slideshow section because that's not part of Restream, where he can just control it like I do your comments popping up. That's in its own setup, its own program on its own possibly dedicated system, or at least a dedicated program running ancillary to Restream, sending the entire feed out to the internet. So that's pretty wild. And that's just what I can guess, notwithstanding the complex audio setup they have, so that if Kent plays audio, everyone in the church can hear it. Hence why sometimes if they have a hot mic while Kent is showing video, we get reverb audio instead of direct audio. It is so wild to kind of think about it and see how it's set up. And that's just me sort of guessing. And that's why, in all seriousness, I give Joseph props for managing to make what this is work. You can't make it more simple. You really can't without taking away something. So they've got it streamlined pretty well. And when it works well enough. When it breaks, it's comedic. But yeah, it's crazy how something that looks so simple is actually pretty hard to manage, especially with Kent being the way he is with stuff. So that's why I say I give props to Joseph for actually managing to do this most of the time. I will talk bad. It's me playing kayfabe. Sometimes I'm genuine with the criticism. It's a little overdone. Sometimes I should take a step back from it. But let me go on record as saying, no, he gets a lot done, and he deserves some respect from us for that. Even if he's, helping promote this kind of garbage. Joseph does good.
No. Mount Sinai is over here in Arabia on the far right side. It should not even be called the Sinai Peninsula. That's not where Mount Sinai is. There's the mountain.
He also treats it, though, you'll notice, like an ethnicity, him being Norwegian, which is a trait with being Jewish as well, is there's the ethnically Jewish. So that's an interesting take, and also lines in with what our friend Dolphy Boy, how he structured things. Just goes to show. Birds of a feather flock together.
Of Sinai right there, that red cluster. When they crossed over the Red Sea, they crossed the Gulf of Aqaba, not the Gulf of Suez. We cover all that on video number 7, where they found the chariot wheels down there. Bible tells us Mount Sinai is in Arabia. There it is. Don't we have, Joy, we have some of the rocks from Mount Sinai in the Science Center, don't we? From the top.
Yes, Kent, you do. You have the sulfur balls. You love to show everybody your balls, all right? No, Zoom, I'm thanking you, because it's at least something different to watch.
The black on one side, is that burned? We got those from Mary Nell Wyatt.
Yeah. Tigre has a wife. Ooh woo.
Yeah. Okay. And as he arose, he did eat and drink and went in the strength of that meat 40 days. Okay.
That's it. Everyone give Tigre an ooh woo.
He came to a cave, and the Lord said, "What are you doing here? Elijah, what are you doing here?" And he said, "I've been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts, and the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away." He's feeling kind of lonely. And he said, "Go forth and stand upon the mount before the Lord." And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great strong wind rent the mountains and brake in pieces the rocks before the Lord.
So God took a really massive fart while he walked by. Thunderous, 180 decibel fart.
Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. See, Elijah is protesting to God, "I faithfully served you, and look at the danger I'm in now." To Elijah and many servants of God since, it seemed unfair that a faithful servant of God should be made to suffer like this. He said, "Go forth and stand."
Yeah, like you, Hovind. Why was I made to suffer?
"And upon the mount before the Lord." And there passed by a great and strong wind, break the rocks in pieces, and a great earthquake. But God was not in either one. After these displays, God appeared in a still small voice.
Kent, this story sucks.
A gentle, quiet whisper. This moment underscores a central biblical truth. God often speaks not through power and spectacle, but through quiet conversation. And some of you can't get
That's conviction, Kent. You wrote this.
Quiet long enough for God to speak to you. You always got to have your phone or your tablet or your laptop or something. Always got to have your screen time. You don't give any God time. Anyway, so we had the earthquake, and then a fire, then a still small voice. You got the wind, the earthquake, the fire, and finally the still small voice. And after the earthquake, a fire, he went out, stood there, and said, "What are you doing here, Elijah? What doest thou here?"
So wait, earth, wind, and fire. Kent, do you remember where Jesus was on the 21st night of September?
It's in there twice in the Bible. What doest thou here? What are you doing? Running from God's calling for your life. Elijah, get back in the saddle again. He said, "I've been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts, because the children of Israel have forsaken the covenant."
Yeah, Kent doesn't like the word conviction. Can't believe that didn't click with me. Nice one.
Thrown down thine altars. And
I wasn't a convict. I was a conversationalist, leading people to the Lord for 9.5 years on my knees, if you please.
"Slain thy prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left alive, and they seek my life to take it." And the Lord said, "Go, return to the way of the wilderness of Damascus. When thou comest, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Jehu, the son of Nimshi, shalt thou anoint to be king over Israel. And Elisha," we got Elijah here talking, "and Elisha, the prophet of Shaphat, shall be anoint in thy room." You're losing your job, Elijah. You're done. You did your job. Now Elisha is going to take over.
So you're fired? You know when Tarleson Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox. That's what I responded to his account with. Haha, you got fired. I was just like, I just was like, fuck it. I would shit post a lot on X back in the day when I used it. I have a new account, same name as the old one, but don't really use it much. Might down the line just for shit posting.
And Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, gathered all his host together. There were 32 kings with him, and horses and chariots, and he went up and besieged Samaria and warred against it.
Yeah, it's funny. God doesn't seem to do anything for anybody except pieces of shit like Hovind.
And he sent messengers to Ahab, king of Israel, unto the city, and said, Thus saith Ben-Hadad, Thy silver and thy gold is mine, thy wives also, and thy children, even the goodliest, are mine. He's basically saying, you better just surrender, okay? And the king of Israel answered and said, My lord, O king, according to thy saying, I am thine and all that I have. So what do you know about this guy, King Ahab? He had a wicked father, Omri. He had a wicked wife, heathen woman Jezebel. He was one of the most wicked kings in Israel. He encouraged Baal worship. His sins brought God's judgment on the nation,
It's pronounced ball.
like no rain for 3 years. He was rebuked by Elijah. He saw the miracle of God sending fire down to burn up the altar. He allowed his evil wife to go after the man of God, even after that.
Okay, so basically, he's just a ripoff of King Joko from Guild Wars. That's what we got here.
He allowed his wife to do that. This guy's henpecked, I think. And the messengers came again and said, Thus speaketh Ben-Hadad, although I have sent unto thee, saying, Thou shalt deliver me thy silver and thy gold and thy wives and thy children. Yet I will send my servants to thee tomorrow about this time, and they shall search thine house and the house of thy servants. And it shall be that whatsoever is pleasant in thine eyes, they shall put it in their hand and take it away. So the enemy king says, I'm going to search all your people's houses and take whatever we want. Then the king of Israel called all the elders.
And yes, the real point of actual meditation, which does actually work, is gain control over yourself. Amen.
Listen to that guy. We're going to fight. Wherefore he said to the messengers of Ben-Hadad, Tell my lord the king, all that thou hast did send to me at the first, I will do. But this thing I may not do. And the messengers departed and brought him word again. And Ben-Hadad sent unto him and said, The gods do so to me, and more also, if the dust of Samaria shall suffice for handfuls of all the people that follow me. He's warning the king Ahab, we got a whole bunch of guys on our side. And the king of Israel answered and said, Tell him, let not him that girdeth on his harness boast himself as he that putteth it off. That's a good sentence there. The one who's coming to the fight is always bragging. See how you are when the fight's over. You ever seen those guys brag about what Mike Tyson? Then after a couple of rounds, they're dragged out of the ring, black eyes. Yeah.
Man, Kent. I mean, Mike Tyson is still culturally relevant, but he could have at least come up with someone more recent. He could have tried to be like, what are the kids into now? Huh? Logan Paul? Okay.
Yeah. Came to pass when Ben-Hadad heard this message, he was drinking, he and the kings in the pavilions, that he said to his servants, Set yourselves in array. And they set themselves in array against the city. Draw up your battle lines, okay? And behold, there came a prophet unto Ahab.
Behold, my phlegm. Achim.
King of Israel, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Hast thou seen all this great multitude? Behold, I will deliver it into thine hand this day, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. God is trying to reach us, Ahab. He sees these miracles, and he just never quite gets it. And Ahab said, By whom? And he said, Thus saith the Lord, even by the young men of the princes of the provinces. Then he said, Who shall order the battle? And he answered, Thou. This prophet is telling him, You're going to be in charge of the battle. Then he numbered the young men of the princes of the provinces. There were 232. Numbered all the people, even all the children of Israel, being 7,000. So he's got 7,000 men against Ben-Hadad with an army you can't even count. And they went out at noon, but Ben-Hadad was drinking himself drunk in the pavilions, he and his kings and the 32 kings that helped him. And the young men of the princes of the province went out first, and Ben-Hadad sent out, and they told him, saying, There are men come out of Samaria.
Well, I'm always fighting upper respiratory crap my own self. I'm amazed I can speak at the length I do and not choke up regularly, because any attempt at singing causes me to instantly start coughing. Kent's had that forever. That's actually something he and I kind of could connect on a human level on if he wasn't such an egotistical piece of shit. Witness cough. Witness cough me cough hack.
And he said, whether they be come out for peace, take them alive, or whether they be come out for war, take them alive. Big mistake there, bud. And the king of Israel went out and smote the horses and chariots and slew the Syrians with a great slaughter.
But Kent, thou shalt not kill.
And the prophet came to the king of Israel and said, go, strengthen thyself, and mark and see what thou doest. For at the return of the year, the king of Syria will come again unto thee, against thee. And the servants of the king of Syria said unto him, their gods are gods of the hills. Therefore they were stronger than we. But let us fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they. They think God is only limited to the high points of life. Some of you think God can only bless you when everything's going good, the high spots in your life. Yeah. The gods of the hills. There's a song. Let's see. He saw the miracle of God sending a fire down to the altar. He allowed his evil wife to go after the man of God. God protected Ahab from the Syrians, not because he was good, but because the Syrians were more evil. God said, I'm going to deliver you, Ahab, but it ain't because of you. It's because the other guys are so evil, okay? Let's do this thing. Take the kings away, every man out of his place, and put captains in their rooms, and number the...
Just notice that God's like, yeah, I'm going to interfere with this in just this particular way, but the rest of it, I'm just going to sit back and watch. Fucking weird, man.
Army like the army thou hast lost, horse for horse, chariot for chariot, and we will fight against them in the plain. And surely we shall...
We will fight them on the beaches. We will fight them on the skies. We will fight them in Lenox, Alabama. Hovind.
Be stronger than they. And he hearkened unto their voice and did so. And it came to pass at the return of the year that...
That right there, 20 points for Joseph for seeing that cough coming and being able to hit mute that quick. That is fucking impressive. Like, seriously, that is. He's not able to catch all of them. He wasn't catching any of them at first. But he seems to have worked out a way to make it a little more tolerable for everybody. Good job, Joseph.
And Hadad numbered the Syrians and went up to Aphek to fight against Israel. And the children of Israel were numbered and were all present. Again, about 7,000 of them. And went out against...
I just want to point out I find that verbiage very weird that they don't have the word counted, apparently didn't exist yet. So it's always they numbered this and numbered that. It's like, you mean counted?
Them. And the children of Israel pitched before them like two little flocks of kids, but the Syrians filled the country. And there came a man of God and spake unto the king of Israel and said, thus saith the Lord, because the Syrians have said, the Lord is God of the hills, but he's not God of the valleys. Therefore,
the chronic cough Kent has had before he was in prison, he had that in his early speeches too. It was a little less common, but he had that all through his early stuff.
For I will deliver all this great multitude into thine hand, and ye shall know that I'm the Lord. Ahab, God's trying to let you know who he is. You're not listening. And they pitched over one against the other 7 days. And it was so on the 7th day, the battle was joined, and the children of Israel slew of the Syrians 100,000.
But weren't they supposed to be resting on the 7th day? No fighting, please. We're kosher. We can't do the fighting, Glaven.
Footmen in 1 day. That's not bad for an army of 7,000. Yeah, okay. There's a song, the God of...
Yeah, I'm absolutely amazed there wasn't a massive Rona outbreak at DAL.
The mountain. Plug in and listen to that later tonight. God.
Plug in and listen to that. But Kent, that requires using our phones or tablets or laptops. We shouldn't have screen time. It should be God time. Now we're using screen time as God time?
Out of the mountain. Love it. Life is easy when you're up on the mountain. You've got peace of mind like you've never known. But when things change and you're down in the valley, don't lose faith. You're never alone. And the God of the mountain is still God in the valley. When things go wrong, he'll make them right. And the God of good times is still God in the...
Yeah, that's me too. Serious heartburn problems.
Bad times. The God of the day is still God of the night. Great song. I recollect that right there. Right there. God on the mountain. Okay. Let's see. But the rest fled to Aphek. Remember, they killed 100,000 of them. Into the city. And there a wall fell upon 27,000 of the men that were left. And Ben-Hadad fled and came into the city into an inner chamber. He's hiding in the closet.
Ben-Hadad? Hey, Dad.
Okay. And his servants said unto him, Behold now, we heard that the kings of the house of Israel are merciful kings. Let us, I pray thee, put sackcloth on our loins and ropes upon our heads, and go out to the king of Israel. Peradventure he will save thy life. And they girded sackcloth on their loins, that's gunny sack, okay, and put ropes on their heads, and came to the king of Israel, and said, Thus thy servant Ben-Hadad saith, I pray thee, let me live. And he said, Is he yet alive? He's my brother. Ahab, he's not your brother, he's your enemy. Ahab still doesn't get it. He still doesn't. And the men did diligently
I don't get it either. This kind of sucks.
observe whether anything would come from him, and did hastily catch it. When they heard him say that, Thy brother Ben-Hadad. Then he said, Go ye bring him, and Ben-Hadad, and he caused him to come up into the chariot. And Ben-Hadad said to him, The cities which my father took from thy father I will restore. And thou shalt make streets for thee in Damascus. We'll name our streets after you, as my father made in Samaria. Then said Ahab, I will send thee away with this covenant. So he made a covenant with him and sent him away. Some people do great cartoon work on this whole great way to teach kids cartoons like this. Ahab and
Oh, man. That makes me think of some goofy ass YouTube stuff like the Brad Neely comics, Baby Kicks, and the like. Got turned in that show China, Illinois. Yeah.
all the different battles. A good way to teach your children the basic Bible story. Okay.
Yes, Kent. Little cute 4 and 5-year-old targeted animations about, biblical battle. Yeah. Because the good book is all full of pre-medieval combat, Bronze Age combat.
And certain man of the sons of the prophet said to his neighbor in the word of the Lord, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man refused to smite him. Then he said to him, Because thou hast not obeyed the voice of the Lord, behold, as soon as thou art departed from me, a lion shall slay thee. And as soon as he was departed, a lion found him and slew him.
Yeah, this story indeed sucks ass. Oh, I forgot to mention when the stream opened, and I just was reminded. 81 years ago today, the Soviet Union liberated Auschwitz-Birkenau, January 27th of 1945. Remember, it was the Soviet Union that helped win World War II. They did a lot of the work. We just kind of took the opportunity once they had consumed enough of the enemy resources. Anyway, let's continue.
Then he found another man and said, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man smote him, so that in smiting he wounded him. Must have got a bloody nose or something.
Smiting, smote, and smitten, kitten.
Okay. So the prophet departed and waited for the king by the way, and disguised himself with ashes upon his face.
No, we're not going back to Abraham.
Usually when it says these sons of the prophets, it's people that are going to Bible college, basically. God's called them to be a leader, a Christian, a theological leader, and they call them sons of the prophets. Okay. And as the king passed by, he cried unto the king and said, Thy servant went out to the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside and brought a man unto me, and said, Keep this man. If by any means he be missing, then thy life shall go for his life, or else thou shalt pay a talent of silver.
I agree, Zumi. I think at most we would have stayed in a Lend-Lease issue until someone did attack. So if Germany had somehow developed the material to make an offensive and judged it worthwhile, they would have. That would have pushed us in, but Japan decided to make the move.
And as the servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said, So shall thy judgment be. Thou have decided it. So Ahab said, Okay, pay a talent of silver or we're going to kill you. And he hasted and took away the ashes from his face, and the king of Israel discerned that he was one of the prophets. And he said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, because
And yes, the Soviets were the first into Berlin.
thou hast let go out of thy hand a man whom I appointed to utter destruction. Therefore thy life shall go for his life, and thy people for his people. This is the prophet telling Ahab now.
Like, seriously, look into the last months of World War II. Very tail end of 44 on through to May 45, and just follow the Eastern Front. Holy shit. It is incredible. The absolute amount of fuck you and everything you stand for that the Soviets pushed in at that point, that time frame. to just end that bullshit. God damn.
You blew it again, bud. And the king of Israel went to his house heavy and displeased and came to Samaria. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard, which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of.
Yeah, when he gets bitten by a snake and is possibly going to die, go see a real doctor. But, it's $1 million for the antivenom, and I'm special enough to get it, yeah. But, when it's an actual cough or anything, oh, no, just take apricot seeds. You're fine. Totally won't kill you.
Samaria. And Ahab said to Naboth, spoke to Naboth, saying, give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it's near my house, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard.
Yeah, Stalingrad was the moment. And holy fuck, that was beyond hell. But no further. I mean, Stalin wouldn't allow it, period. Oh man, I mean, war is hell. And that's not to say that the Soviets didn't do, individual troops and stuff, individual units didn't do some awful stuff. War sucks on all fronts. But let's be real. The Soviets you can understand where they were coming from.
Or if it seemed good to thee, I will give the worth of it in money, or to buy his property.
And yeah, Kursk and Stalingrad, we truly don't over here. I mean, most people don't even know Kursk, period. The first time they may have ever heard of Kursk happened to be Ukraine's incursion into it last year. Yeah, that's the most they know. Meanwhile, I know broadly the history of the battle, and of course, with it being an RBMK facility, actually the twin sister of Chernobyl, the Kursk nuclear power plant, I'm very familiar with it. Kursk is an incredible facility, by the way. VVER for Kursk 2, and there was a prototype of the architecture for the RBMK 2400 that was planned at Reactor 5 at Kursk, which wasn't canceled until, get this, Kursk 5, an RBMK family reactor, construction stopped like by about 90, 91 range. It wasn't canceled until 2012. So up until 2012, technically speaking, an RBMK reactor was still under construction. Oh, I love that.
And Naboth said to Ahab, the Lord forbid it me, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers to thee. See, in the Jewish tradition, you don't sell your inheritance. You got to keep it. Okay? So he's asking, hey, can I buy your vineyard?
Do I think World War II would have ended with the Soviet front alone without U.S. involvement? Probably, but under you saying without U.S. involvement, that's implying that we were not in active combat, and I go with the same pre-Pearl Harbor situation of us being lend-lease partners with Britain, and that they may have been able to amass enough of a military with equipment from us to be able to make the D-Day landings, them, Canada, Australia, and the like, sans U.S. directly. But it would have been a harder fight on the Western Front, and the Soviets would have gotten more territory past Berlin, because they would have continued sweeping over after taking out Hitler and dominating Germany all the way up. They probably would have gone and claimed part of France easily, and most likely Italy. Hitler losing the war, Germany losing the war was inevitable because they kept it going for too long. That was part of the surge into Russia, was to get a hold of things like Kursk, like the oil fields there, to be able to maintain conflict. Had he not attacked the Soviet Union, it would have been a different story. But that was what fucked him up. Starting a war on two fronts now, when he, even though he had a stable Western front. That was the point that really screwed everything up. And the Soviets would have eventually, just been able to outnumber because they just could. That's simple. So yeah, short answer.
No, of course I can't sell it. And Ahab came to his house heavy and displeased because of the word of Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken.
Update from Tubian. The story of Ahab ends with Jezebel being thrown out of a window and her body eaten by dogs, except her hands. Sleep tight, honey. Hovind. Scoot over, honey, out the window.
To him.
Divorce me, will you?
He said, I will not give the inheritance of my father. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would not eat. He's pouting. I can't have that vineyard. I'm going to cry. What an idiot. Jezebel.
Yeah, Zukov was absolutely fucking incredible. Although I do have massive respect for Erwin Rommel, for Patton. Um, Honestly, a lot of the top brass in World War II I have massive respect for different reasons. Rommel gets a special place. We actually respected him. He fought. If we're gonna fight a war, fight with honor. He fought with honor. And that actually kind of bit him in the ass in the grand scheme. Um, the rest of the Germans, nah, no fucking respect given. Rommel is, of course, the exception. The Desert Fox.
His wife came and said, "Why is thy spirit so sad that thou eatest no bread?" And he said, "Because I spoke to Naboth the Jezreelite and said to him, Give me thy vineyard for money, or else if it please thee, I'll give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard."
Zoso probably on the war on the Eastern Front, because how long would it have been before Stalin was just like, you know what, I'm tired of having these people nearby. They talk shit about our great Soviet Empire. Fuck them.
Oh, honey, don't be sad. I'll get the vineyard for you. This is wicked Queen Jezebel here, okay? Jezebel, his wife, said, Dost not thou govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise, eat bread, and let thy heart be.
Yep, man, I love this. It's just turning into a World War II conversation. We're not even paying attention to Hovind. Rochester Swift points out that the push to Operation Barbarossa was inevitable. All had been inspired by American manifest destiny. Very good thing to bring up, because I don't ever hear that brought up too often, to a point where I forget that facet regularly. A lot of Nazi ideology was actually based on American ideas, from the racism to things like this manifest destiny. Germany has to take over all this. And it was inevitable to invade the USSR. Yep. And crocodile tears again, Kent. You are right, Jared.
Mary, I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth, the Jezreelite.
And that was a subtle little hit right there of the crocodile tears from Kent. So I'm very glad you noticed it. That means that, we as a group pick up on his little subtle manipulation tactics.
So she wrote many letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal and sent the letters to the elders of the nobles of the city, dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letters saying, Proclaim a fast and set Naboth on high among the people, and set 2 men, sons of Belial, worshippers of Baal worship, basically, before him to bear witness against him. Remember the Bible says don't bear false witness?
Zoso, you have no idea how many times I've heard that. Which is funny, because it's like, you're saying that as an American to an American. So what do you mean we'd all be speaking German now if the U.S. didn't get involved? Would they have just magically taken over? Would we have been, we surrender, as the stereotype with France goes? Which the French surrender was a very, very tactical move to save the fucking nation. It makes no sense. And I get the spirit of it, but it is America's the best and Europe can't do anything right kind of attitude. And it's like, nah, dog, that's not. The situations are extremely complicated. In World Wars I and II, they're a hell of a lot to take in and understand. And the United States perspective on them and where we at the time and in retrospect is very particular for very valid reasons.
Saying, Thou didst blaspheme God and the king. Then carry him out and stone him. I want you to, this wicked queen saying, find some people to bear false witness about Naboth, that you heard him blaspheme God and the king, which he did no such thing. And so he got arrested. This is the beginning of weaponized Justice Department.
Oh my God, here he fucking goes, just out of the blue into the crazy. Really, Kent? Really? So does this go hand in hand with America as a Christian nation, that this is a facet that we put out? But, you want to talk about weaponization of the federal government. What about our poor friend Alex? What about that? I notice you're not saying anything about that, because this is yesterday's stream, so this is after the event had happened. You're not saying anything there, and that's a reason I actually did this stream. Like, real talk. Why I wanted to the moment I got home was in case he says something about it. because this man was, I had a feeling if he does, this man is going to piss me off so much, I will call him in the middle of the stream and tell him to fuck off. Well, more than that.
Was it big on that when they first came after him with everything they got? Ending the weaponization.
After everything out, no one has to come after anybody with everything they got because Trump is a piece of shit. He's an absolute piece of fucking shit. He's a pedophile ass fucking rapist of all fronts. A horrible human being who deserves every bit of the justice system's power used against him. However, he's probably not going to live another couple of months. He is going to get away with his crimes. But hopefully the rest of the MAGA cult will not. In the end, actual liberty, actual decency will prevail. I hope you go down with them, Hovind. I really do.
Of the federal government. Donald Trump, they're weaponizing our justice system. Boy, they're the...
Wow, yeah, just because a piece of shit like that says it, it must be true on Fox News. Oh, yeah. You know, it's funny, Kent, you get searches like this when you do a video search for weaponized government. It's funny how the internet works.
Came after me for no crime whatsoever. Go back to February.
No, we're not going back to your February 1st bullshit from a fucking year ago, dumbass. Obviously, Cheeto Mussolini doesn't give a fuck about you. Also, getting a pardon this late is impossible, and that would still be an admission of guilt. But no, Kent, we have been over your crimes. The statistics have been shown. If you can prove otherwise with all your financial records from that time period and show that those transactions were not made, that's another story. Bring up in fact, Kent, challenge to you. Granted, you got to go back 25 years, but go back and get all of those financial records. Show them to us. Everything to verify that they made up those numbers. Or if we happen to see withdrawal amounts in patterns and stuff that match exactly what was reported on the criminal complaint, that would kind of imply that you more than likely were structuring transactions to avoid reporting requirements and thus causing taxation investigation for your taxes to happen, investigation of your funds for taxation to happen. And yeah, it'd be indicating, if we don't find that, then they made it up. If we do find it, then it means they were right to investigate, and whatever conclusion they came to is what they came to, because that is their job.
1st of last year, watch my open letter to Donald Trump.
It's also pathetic almost 20 years later he's still bitching about this, because seriously, he is bitching about something that this investigation was happening 20 years ago at this time. It was late 2006 that he actually got the final arrests and shit happened and began the trial process.
I know real uptight, okay, about the weaponized Justice Department.
I know real uptight about the weapon Justice Department. You're uptight up the ass, Kent. You got the weaponized justice system so far up your ass.
Not justice, it's just ice, okay? Justice system.
Just ice? Oh, was that supposed to be a joke, Kent? I don't think ice is very funny right now. It's kind of a term that people are never going to use again after this is over. ICE as an acronym is going to be blacklisted.
In America has been weaponized against President Trump. Tim Scott, weaponization of the justice system against Trump is something we find repulsive. The justice system in America has been weaponized against President Trump. That's what happened to Aaron in this case in Arkansas.
Oh, God, and there he is with the fucking Aaron Spencer shit. My fucking God, Kent.
The judge has already been letting this pedophile go many times, and now she's going to judge him whether it's okay for him to kill that guy.
It's not the same judge, dumbass. That's not how that works. What, you think there's just one judge?
14-year-old daughter. Praise God, the court stepped in and got a new judge on that case. So we'll see about that, Joseph. Okay. Let's see. The American people have witnessed the previous administration engage in systematic campaign against its perceived political opponents. The weaponized Justice Department. I was a victim of it myself, okay? Trump, weaponization of...
God, shut the fuck up, cunt.
The Justice Department, federal government. Trump's AG pick, Bondi, questioned about potential weaponization of Justice Department. Trump's pick questioned about potential weaponization. Yep, they do it. Use the Justice Department, ain't justice at all. Right? Want to get somebody
Ooh, yeah, this is a very good one for Polyphonics. Hey, Kent, guess what Trump did to people's 14-year-old daughters?
in jail? They can put him in jail for something. Let's see. Hearing before the Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. February 2 years ago. 3 years ago now. Weaponizing the Justice Department, University of Minnesota, published 2020. AFPI, unequal.
The ravings of a madman, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're watching.
Applying the law subverts justice for all. Is the government being weaponized against you? You can read all this some other time. Anyway, the men of the city, even the elders who were inhabitants, did as Jezebel sent to them, as it is written in the letters which she sent them. They proclaimed a fast and set Naboth on high among the people. And there came in 2 men, children of Belial, and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against
Rogue. In some strange way, Kent has found, through these Bible characters, ways to make himself, ways to elucidate on his own perceived suffering. And that's what he's doing. He's looking for anything like, oh, they're making this guy. I think this is how the story is going, is they're blackmailing this guy or something, or otherwise blaming him for shit or weaponizing their justice system against him when he didn't do anything wrong. And Kent's like, oh, see, they did it to me. Because that's all he cares about is himself.
him. They lied, okay? Even against Naboth in the presence of the people, saying Naboth did blaspheme God and the king, just like they lied about me. Hovind is a tax protester. I'm not a tax protester. If you owe a tax, you ought to pay it.
Yes, Kent, but you act like various taxes that you are responsible for, you don't actually owe per soft-sit bullshit. And that's just wrong.
They're lying.
And you using pathetic doublespeak. There's a thumbnail. Demented Hovind. Doesn't make it any better.
Lied about me. And some of you guys on the Atheist channel are still lying, saying I went to jail for
No, I'm not lying. I am stating absolute facts.
tax for defrauding the government. I did not.
Yes, you were found guilty of. You and Joe were found guilty of structuring, in addition to not withholding withholding FICA taxes properly. You were found guilty. Get the fuck over it. You can cry conspiracy all you want. That's all you can do. Just whine and bitch about it nearly 2 decades later. Yeah, that fucking sucks, but you could have prevented that by actually doing things correctly. But no, you had to get in with the sovereign citizen crowd.
Quit lying. Well, you probably can't, okay? Your father.
No, Kent. Unlike you, I speak truth quite regularly. And if I do find out that I am validly mistaken about something, I correct what I say. I love being found wrong on something because that means I can be more accurate in the future. You refuse to acknowledge you're wrong about anything when you're wrong about everything. You want others to change their understanding of truth and reality to match your delusions.
The devil is a liar, and he makes you do that. Okay? So they stoned him with.
Yes, except unlike you, I don't have imaginary friends or especially imaginary enemies. You pathetic, overgrown child.
Stones. And they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. And it came to pass when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and dead, she said to Ahab, Arise, take possession of the vineyard. And he refused to give thee money, which he refused to give thee for money, for Naboth is not alive, but dead. It came to pass when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, Ahab rose up, he stopped pouting, to go down to the vineyard of Naboth, the Jezreelite.
Yeah, see, Rochester, if it was you or me, given that we're radical, left-wing, communist, anti-fascist, all kinds of shit, they're commies. If the Trump administration went against us for simply expressing following our First Amendment right to free expression and free speech against the tyrannical hellscape that the United States has become, we would, and we were targeted. Kent would be all over that. Oh, they probably deserved it. They probably did something, like the right is doing about our poor friend Alex. Literally saying, I'm not going to get into it. It's going to piss me right the fuck off. All of this shit is just, obviously, it's pissing us all off. But god damn, I'm at my limit. What was I going to say? He would say that it's justified for this completely pointless attack on us for simply doing something that being an American allows us to do, supposedly. But when he actually violates laws, oh, it's unfair. It's insane.
To take possession of it. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah the Tishbite. God's going to send his man to tell the truth. Arise, go down to meet Ahab, king of Israel, which is in Samaria. Behold, he's in the vineyard of Naboth, whither he has gone down to possess it. And thou shalt speak to him, saying,
He has a habit of filing frivolous lawsuits too, not just against everyone involved in his case, but as we mentioned a couple of weeks back, the Mark Stoney lawsuit. That's just a pro se piece of shit that basically boils down to he told the Zaire story and none of it's true, and we want to sue him years later. Hovind. I can't. I'm going to go to, like you said with Cindy. Why'd you wait? 6 years to sue? To try to sue Mark Stoney. Going to complain. Cindy waited 6 months to file a criminal complaint against you. Why'd you wait 6 years there, Kent? Must not be true, huh?
Thus saith the Lord, hast thou killed and taken possession? And thus thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus saith the Lord, in the place where the dogs lick the blood of Naboth, the dogs shall lick thy blood, even thine.
Yeah, and in Kent's chance at due process, when asked did he understand English, he said somewhat or partially or something to that effect.
Prophecy. And Ahab said to Elijah, Hast thou found me, O mine enemy? And he answered, I found thee, because thou sold thyself to work evil in the sight of the Lord. And some of you have done the same thing. You've sold yourself to work evil. Behold, I will bring evil upon.
One man's evil is another man's good, Kent. Sovietsky Soyuz. Da, da, na, 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 na. Where was I? Oh, yeah.
On thee, and I will take away thy posterity, all your kids and grandkids.
Okay, so this is something cool. So, like, the other night, like, I leave my phone on and just let it play videos, right? Get on a charger, and I just got it playing videos. And I was just woken up the other night, just middle of the night, with it just blasting the Soviet anthem. So I went to sleep watching some stuff on like Soviet jets and the like. I think it was MiG-23 stuff. I know that was last night's stuff, so let's just say that way. And yeah, it was so fucking cool because it leaked into the dream I was having and woke me up. And it was like, let me tell you, Soviet Union had the best fucking anthem. Russia fucking ruined it, usurping it in 2000. Soviet anthem, now that is a fucking anthem right there.
And will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall. That would be all the boys, okay? Girls can't do that. And him
Thank you, Tyler. Somewhat was the word. Yep. You understand English? Somewhat.
Is shut up and left in Israel. And I will make thine house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha.
Thank you, Rogue. I'm probably not the first person to say it in some form, but use it as you see fit. Although it kind of goes both ways, but that's just the thing.
The son of Ahijah, for the provocation.
They said things are all relative.
Wherewith thou hast provoked me to anger, and made Israel to sin. And Jezebel also, and of Jezebel spake the Lord, saying, The dogs shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. What a prophecy. He that dieth of Ahab in the city, the dogs shall eat, and him that dieth in the field, the fowls of the air shall eat. But there was none like Ahab, which did sell himself to...
Kent said pisseth. Does he want it in his mouth? Probably. He wants a golden shower from golden Christ.
Work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up. And he did very abominably in following idols, according to all things that the Ammonites did, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. It came to pass when Ahab heard these words that he rent his clothes. That means he ripped them, okay? And put sackcloth upon his flesh and fasted, and lay in sackcloth and went softly. And the word of the Lord came.
Did this literally just say that he ripped off his clothes, put a sackcloth, and went flaccid? I had an erection. Now I don't anymore. Jesus.
To Elijah the Tishbite, saying, See how Ahab humbled himself before me. Because he humbled himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days, but in his son's days will I bring the evil upon his house.
Okay. That's pretty fucking stupid. Also, I thought your God had nothing to do with evil. Then why is he bringing evil? What the fuck is that about?
They continued 3 years without war between Syria. Remember, they just lost 127,000 men. And it came to pass in the third year that Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, came down to the king of Israel. So now remember the northern
Oh my God, this story sucks.
kingdom is Israel, Ahab. The southern kingdom, Judah, is the two. Most of them were good kings, about half of them. None of the northern kingdoms had good kings. And the king of Israel said to his servants, know ye that Ramoth and Gilead is ours, and we be still, and take it not out of the hand of the king of Syria. And he said unto Jehoshaphat, wilt thou go with me to battle to Ramoth the Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, I am as thou art, and my people as thy people, my horses as thy horses. This is called stupid. Don't join up with evil people to do evil. Somebody says, hey, let's go rob this car. Let's go rob this bank. Let's go rob these people. Stay away from people like that. Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, inquire, I pray thee, at the hand of the Lord today. Then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, 400 men, and said unto them, shall I go up against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? I should not go. And they said, go up.
Damn, the last season of Game of Thrones is better than this shit. Ooh, I got you. The Star Wars sequels are better than this shit.
The Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of the Lord besides, that we may inquire of him? All 400 of these so-called prophets of the Lord are saying, yes, you better go. He said, isn't there one more? Somebody from a non-accredited.
in times from Warhammer Fantasy was better than this shit. Ouch. Also, oh my, he's seriously gonna go here. He is so fucking petty. Let me step back a sec so you get the full experience. Take in all the Hovind.
The Lord are saying, yes, you better go. He said, isn't there one more? Somebody from a non-accredited Christian school we can trust, maybe.
Gotta make it about himself. What a prick.
Yeah. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, there's yet one man, Micaiah, the son of Imaiah, by whom we may inquire of the Lord, but I hate him. For he doth not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. He never says anything good about me. And Jehoshaphat said, let not the king say so. Then the king of Israel called an officer. Hasten hither Micaiah, the son of Imaiah. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, sat each on his throne, having put on their robes in a void place in the entrance of the gate of Samaria. And all the prophets prophesied before them. And Zedekiah, the son of whatever his name is, made him horns of iron, and said, thus saith the Lord, with these shalt thou push the Syrians until you consume them. And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into thy king's hand. And the messenger that was gone up to call Micaiah spake unto him, saying, behold, now the words of the prophets declare good unto the king with one mouth. Let thy word, I pray thee, be like the word of one of them, and speak that which is good.
This is like the shittiest D&D campaign ever.
And Micaiah said, as the Lord liveth, what the Lord said to me, that will I speak.
Kent Hovind is a DM. I'm gonna need you to do a savings throw. Okay, so, you're all evil and God smites you. Campaign over. I win. Kent, that's not how Dungeons and Dragons works. I win. This sucks.
So he came to the king, and the king said, shall we go up to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall we forbear? And he said, go, prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And the king can tell he's not saying what God really told him to say. And the king said, how many times shall I adjure thee that thou tell me nothing but that which is true in the name of the Lord? And he said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills, as sheep that have not a shepherd. And the Lord said, these have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, didn't I tell you that his would not prophesy good concerning me? I told you, don't call this guy. He said, hear thou, therefore, the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him, on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said in this manner, another in that manner. Then there came a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said, wherewith? He said, I will go
Good
forth and be a
God,
lying
this
spirit in the mouth
sucks.
of all these college professors. I'm sorry, mouth.
What a petty little bitch he is. God fucking damn. You're so fucking pathetic, Kent. And you are truly a weak individual.
Of all his prophets. And he said, Thou shalt persuade him and prevail. Go forth and do so. Now, therefore, behold, the Lord hath.
I'm speeding this shit up. I can't deal with this. I fucking hate the Bible. It is the worst fucking book.
Put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these teachers.
And like I mean that as in, it is a book is absolute shit. That's why I fucking hate it. I would rather have something else read to me by this ass clown.
Prophet. And the Lord has spoken concerning evil concerning thee. But Zedekiah, the son of his dad, went near and smote Micaiah on the cheek, and said, Which way went the Spirit of the Lord from me to speak unto thee? And Micaiah said, Behold, thou shalt see it in that day when thou shalt go into the inner chamber to hide thyself. And the king of Israel said, Take Micaiah and carry him back to.
That's it. We're going 2x. This isn't quick enough. Be prepared, everybody. This is going to be fast.
Ammon, to the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king's son, and say, Thus saith the king, Put this fellow in prison, and keep him there for 9 years. No, see, and feed him.
There you go, another one. Put the president in prison for 9 years. Is this all you're going to do, Kent? Is just make little quips about your own shitty life? Is this... Why? Why are you like this? Why are you such a pathetic, weak, overgrown man-child? Why?
And with bed of affliction, and with water of affliction, till I come in peace. And Micaiah said, If thou return in peace at all, the Lord hath not spoken unto me. He said, Hearken, people, listen, everyone of you listen. So the king of Israel and Joshaphat, king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead, and the king of Israel said to Joshaphat, I will disguise myself and enter the battle, but put thou on thy robes. And the king of Israel disguised himself and went into the battle. But the king of Syria commanded his 32 captains that rule over his chariots, Fight neither with small or great, save only with the king of Israel. We're going after this one guy.
This is the most Bible he's ever read in one setting. He's still interjecting his bullshit in it, but he isn't going off to other complete tangents.
And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw Joshaphat, they said, Surely it's the king of Israel. And they turned aside to fight against him, and Joshaphat cried out, Not me, no. Okay. And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots perceived it was not the king of Israel, they turned back from pursuing him. And a certain man drew a bow at a venture, and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the harness. Wherefore he said to the driver of the chariot, Turn thy hand and carry me out of the host, for I am wounded. But an arrow just hit him, went right through where the armor has a joint. And the battle increased that day, and the king was stayed up in his chariot against the Syrians, and died at even. And the blood ran out of the wound into the midst of the chariot. And there went a proclamation throughout the host about the going down of the sun, saying, Every man to his city, and every man to his country. Everybody go home, battle's over. So the king died and was brought to Samaria, and they buried the king in Samaria. And one washed the chariot in the pool of Samaria, and the dogs licked up his blood. Isn't that what the prophet prophesied would happen? Yeah. And they washed his armor according to the word of the Lord which he spake. Now the rest of the acts of Ahab and all that he did and the ivory house that he made, are they not in the book, written in the book of Chronicles?
This fucking sucks.
Okay. So Ahab married wicked Jezebel. He allowed Baal worship into his kingdom. And some of you allow things in your home you should not allow in your home. You know what your kids are doing, watching on the phone, on the tablet? You know, you allow things in, you allow them to curse in your home. He brought idols into Israel. He saw God.
If I want to look at tig-ass Japanese biddies, that's my own situation, not yours, dude.
Send fire down, and he still didn't repent. He allowed Jezebel to kill the prophets of God. He rejected the prophet's warning. He tried to blame Elijah. He stole his neighbor's vineyard and had him killed. He listened to the 400 false college professors, false prophets, instead of the real men of God.
Oh, there's another one. Listen to 400 false college professors. Oh, he wrote it in there. Good God.
And some of you use that excuse, all the college professors believe in evolution. It doesn't matter. They're all wrong then. All of them. Okay? I'm just one lonely Hovind guy. I'll take all on. He died in battle. A wasted life. Wasted. Poor guy never did get it. Okay, questions or comments? It's freezing in here. We gotta get out of here. Questions or comments, brother?
All right, fuck this shit. I don't want to do his Q&A. I don't want to hear the Hovind jerk-off squad. If any of y'all watching, there's anything worth covering in there, let me know. Otherwise, that's that. We've been streaming for about an hour and a quarter. I totally just want to play some Guild Wars before I have to go into work tomorrow. He's not mentioned evolution much at all. Yeah, he surprisingly didn't whine about it today. That's that, though. I've got nothing else to add. I'll catch everyone tomorrow. Discord link's down in the description. It should work. The link should work fine. I don't know why it wouldn't for some people, but you know, if you give it a go, if not, let me know via one way or another, and I'll send you a link. Emails in the chat and all that jazz. Yeah. Let me finish up with love Tig Biddies, damn right. And this is just a cunt pity party. Oh yeah, it really was. But all right, as always, much love. I'll catch everyone next time.